And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So today we're going to be talking about Landman season 2. This is going to be my thoughts on what I thought of the season finale, not only the season finale, but the season as a whole for Landman season 2. So let's go ahead, let's dive into it. I'm excited to be able to go live, talk about the show. So if you guys want to talk about the show or anything, just go ahead and fire away into the comment section, and I'll be glad to go ahead and take your live questions or answers or anything like that. So let's go ahead, let's do it. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I do appreciate everyone being able to watch this and everything. So, tonight, like I said, I'm going to be reviewing Landman Season 2. And what I have to say about this is I really enjoyed watching Landman Season 2. There were some things within the season itself, though, that I thought that felt kind of flat a little bit. Like, I felt like that it wasn't cohesive enough to where we left off with season one. But then once we get into the season finale and stuff, I really enjoyed the season finale a lot better. But right off the gate, I just want to say this. I enjoy seeing Billy Bob Thornton back in this again. I enjoy seeing Sam Elliott as Billy Bob's father in this as well. I really think that having Sam Elliott in this gives a certain balances to Tommy's character and stuff, and also to let us dive in as fans of the show to give us a background of who Tommy is as a person outside of the landfill and stuff like that. Even though that we actually got a little bit of him in season one of who he is, but what he was like growing up, why he doesn't like his mother or anything like that, especially whenever they have to bury his mother. And then I like how Tommy winds up taking Sam Elliott, which is his father, back over to his house and everything and starts living with him. And I love the advice he gives to his son. I like that element to it. What he gives to Cooper, I think that they did a really good job with that. I think that this is still a stellar cast. And I also like seeing Dale back, played by James Jordan. I like seeing Mustafa Speaks. I like seeing him back as boss. Everything within season two, I really liked having the characters back again. Now, this is something else that I want to talk about. I want to talk about how Cammy Miller, who's actually Monty's wife, winds up taking over the company. She's nervous at first, and then she's like, you know what? I'm going to go on ahead and show people that I have what it takes to run this company. So she ends up proving it to the people talking behind her back at this at this party that they have, setting her up. And and then she winds up saying, hey, look, I have what it takes. I have the balls for what it takes to run this company. And I'm not Monty. I am who I am. And just because I'm not Monty doesn't mean that I have to take crap off of you either. But come on, Cammy, you don't really know how to run a company or anything like that either. You decided to fire Tommy at the very end of the season, and and I'll be honest with you, you ended up making a deal with the cartel, even though Tommy said not to go ahead and do this. This is a very dangerous guy that you're playing with. You have no idea who you're messing with. I was tied up to a chair. This guy comes in and he winds up saving my life. Yeah, but at the same time, though, it came with a price. And she doesn't really care. She just wants to go into business with this guy because he's actually good for business. And so she gets deeper into it, and then finally she lets Tommy go. But then Tommy's like, look, I'm not going to take this laying down either. So he goes over to the guy who's actually in charge of the cartels, and he's like, look, I want to make a proposition with you. And I love how Tommy does this. And even though, yes, he's actually being hypocritical to the fact that he is going to be working um, with the cartel, even though he was against it with Cammy. But it's about survival for Tommy right now. It's about trying to establish his son's business, which is Cooper's business now, being an oil field manager, person that manages everything, and trying to get that company off the ground and let it be part of that family. And I like how they do this. It's like Tommy's leaving the old business behind that Monty built, and now he's building his own empire with his own family. And I like how the fact that this oil field business is actually being in with the family dynamic. So I like that. And then you also have Rebecca as well. I like how she's actually portraying the lawyer aspect of it, uh, too, where now she actually has a little bit of a love interest who ends up telling her, "Hey, look, you act like that you're all that and everything, and really you're not, and you're afraid of admitting that you're wrong. And so now she's actually invested in him, and I like the dynamic between the two of them, the love story between the two of them. So I feel like that actually works. I like how Cooper is also trying to start off his own business as well and trying to prove that he has what it takes to do this. And yes, he ends up, it's just luck of the draw. It's just luck of the draw that he happens to get these oil things operational and stuff. And he winds up accidentally getting into the cartel, which is also the same business that which which Tommy finds out through the contract and stuff that it's actually the same company that the cartel is working for. So now he has to try to figure out a way for Cooper to be on to try to either get him out of this contract or whatever. But we find out later on that you know what, he's just going to stay within the contract itself and let this be a family-owned business, which I really liked about that aspect of it. Hey, what's going on, Justin? I appreciate you being in the live chat on Instagram. I do appreciate that. But you know, I just think that this season was good. It was not as good as season one because I feel like season one was more cohesive. This one dealt with a lot of the family dynamics of it. Like you have uh, Inslee, who's actually going to college, and you have Angela, who's actually trying to figure out a way to keep her daughter close to her and stuff like that too, and not letting her be able to grow out on her own. While Tommy's also like, hey, look, she's just going to college. She's just going to a cheerleader camp. She'll be fine. We don't have to worry about her or anything. She'll be back on the holidays. But it's just that empty nest syndrome that Angela has for her daughter and the love and care that she has for her daughter and stuff like that. Yes, her mom's off the reels, just as Ainsley is off the reels as well on the stuff that they do, especially with the nursing home stuff, taking them over to the casino, taking them over to a casino to gamble with Tommy's money, and then they wind up winning maybe over $10,000, $20,000 worth of his money, and they wind up winning. So I thought I liked that aspect of it. But the other thing that I really liked was how they played around with the she them character, where Ainsley moves into the dorm, and that character, she and them winds up telling her, "Hey, look, I want quietness. I want my own space. I want this. I want that." And Ainsley winds up moving out. But the thing that really got me was this, because here's the thing. At first, I'm like, you know what? Screw this, Ainsley. You don't. She's only giving you one perspective. You're not giving a chance to actually be able to. Excuse me. You're not able to fully compromise or anything. It's all about what this person wants. And before you know it, you're compromising everything that you know about your own self for this one person. But what happens is out on the football field, two ball bags winds up picking on that character, and Ainsley comes in to the rescue and says, well, the only shot that you have at us at even nailing a cheerleader is never. Pull out your penises and let me see what you have. And she goes, that's what I thought. And there's also this respect, though, too. I like how the she them character is aware. This person's actually professional out on the field and doctoring Ainsley's ankle, telling her what to do and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so this person's actually, even though this person is very negative towards her in the dorm, but this person's actually professional out in the work field. So I like the professionalism within that, but also too, Ainsley winds up gaining that character's respect, and therefore they wind up compromising one another. And even though they're so different from each other, they still manage to find some kind of ground to where they can get along. So I like that aspect of it. As far as that character goes. And then there's also the dangers of working out in the land field and stuff that I like. This is the one thing that I like about Landman is the danger aspect of it, and they're not afraid to show you the dangerous aspects of it, which is the gas leak that they have, and people are dying around this whole thing. And then there was this one scene where one of the workers or wasn't even sure that he was even going to live or die or anything like that either, and he's inside the hospital bed. And I love those moments of where we get the danger aspect of what it's like to work out on the oil rigs and stuff. And it's just horrifying to see something like that happening on this show. And it left me in shock over the fact I'm like, is this guy going to make it? Is this guy not going to make it? What's going to happen? So I like those little small attention to details out on the work field when it comes down to being a landman. But another thing I want to talk about is this. I like how Tommy cares about his father to the point where he winds up getting a stripper to do aqua therapy on him. And I like how Tommy's like, look, I don't give a shit what you call it or anything like that. As long as I get my father to actually feel like a man again, basically. Because he takes him out of the nursing home and puts him into his home, and the guy's just sitting out there watching the sunset and not really moving, not doing anything. His joints are hurting him. But Tommy goes over to the strip joint and gives the stripper the money to give him aqua therapy. She goes, well, here's the thing. I don't know anything about aqua therapy. I'm not a therapist. Because that's the point. If I tell my father that you're an aqua therapist, this whole thing's over with. So you have to actually pretend to be an aqua therapist, even though you're not an aqua therapist. And so she winds up taking the job. Next thing you know, they wind up becoming close and having that bond with one another. I like this dynamic between them. And I like the fact that, he has a little bit more of a pep in his step now. He's got that confidence in him that I really like with Sam Elliott's character. I really like his character in this. I think this is actually the right person to play Billy Bob Thornton's father in Landman. So I really like that. And, even though episode 9 concluded with two major incidents with Cammy, who is partnering with the powerful financial investor Danny, but doesn't realize that he is currently a cartel boss, fires Tommy from his position as president of Intex Oil. The reason Cammy no longer wants Tommy on board is he simply doesn't back major risk by Cammy that could cost her the company. And this is something that I was mentioning earlier, was the fact that, come on, girl, you're firing a 50-50 shot of there might be oil where you're drilling at. There may not be oil over there. Not only that, but you're also putting this investment in where the cartel is. And the cartel could actually wind up whacking you because you're not producing the oil that you're supposed to be promising him. Meanwhile, at least Tommy actually has a business that actually is performing. And it's not a 50-50 shot. There is money to be made on the stuff that they're doing. So, Cammy, you're not really doing a very good job at doing what you need to be doing. And then this is another thing that I really have to say. I really think that they should have done a better job at making this season more cohesive. Yes, I like the moments of where they're celebrating the pirates' dinner, and they're and every single meal that they have, there's always a theme that Tommy's wife always does. And there's also this one scene where they wind up getting into an argument at the dinner table, throws food at Tommy. And, I like the back and forth and chemistry between them. But at the same time, though, I wanted something a little bit more cohesive within how the first season was set up and established. But that's just me on how I feel about that. But I just think that it would have been better of a more cohesive story if they would have done that. But, they're mostly focusing on the family aspect with Tommy and also his daughter and his wife. I do like the whole entire thing where Dale is actually in Louisiana and he's fixing his plate. And he's like, look, and I like how the lawyer's like, hey, aren't you supposed to be paying attention to what you're eating? Goes, man, these cages can cook. I'm not worried about anything right now. Here, try this. And he winds up giving him a sandwich. But also, too, Cammy's also very sneaky and very vindictive when it comes down to uh I think it's Neil is the lawyer that's for Tommy. And he's like, look, Cammy's trying to make you um president of the company because she ended up booting me out. And he goes, well, that's why I'm on this plane with you, so I can talk to her in person. And so he winds up going over there, and she's like, well, what's up with all these files that Monty had? He goes, well, that was just in case something happened and we didn't put it into the electronic filing system because of the fact that it was coming off different grids and stuff like that for embezzlement and stuff. And this is just in case something happened. So then she told Neil, she goes, look, how do you feel about being the president of this company? And he turns around and says, hey, look, that's not going to happen. I don't want to be part of this company or anything like that. I just wanted to tell you personally that I resign. So I like this dynamic with the fact that he is loyal to Tommy, that Neil is actually loyal to Tommy. And I like and even though it's chaotic with the wife being inside that house and stuff, I'd like the fact that, that he's still loyal to Tommy, even though it's chaotic in that house. And yes, he could actually probably boot Tommy out of that house if he winds up becoming president, if he chose to do so, but he's not going to, because now he's actually part of Tommy's company, just as Rebecca is, just as this is actually a whole entire family business now. So that is something that I really liked within the finale. Also, too, I want to mention this real quick about Ariana. I felt bad for her, like especially with that douchebag did to her at the bar, where he winds up wanting to rape her, and he was really close to her up until the point where Cooper came in and stepped in, and he stopped this douchebag from raping her, and basically he tore her shirt off. He had her pants down, and Cooper came over there and beat the shit out of him. And I don't blame Cooper for wanting to do that because of the fact that he was in the wrong, but yet these cops were going to go ahead and defend this guy that raped this woman. And he's like, wait, you're going to defend this person and stuff, even though the person is dead and he died of a. They were saying that Cooper beat him up so badly that he died, but really it was a heart attack that actually killed him. So, I feel like that. I like how they play in the politics of this, where now Tommy has to go in and try to figure out what's going on with Cooper and stuff. And Rebecca winds up telling Cooper's fiance, Ariana, hey, look, tell Cooper, do not talk anymore. Put the cell phone in the interrogation room. And from that point on, he's not allowed to say anything up until I get there. And then you have Tommy, who winds up talking to the other sheriff about everything. And I really like the fact that they lay into him. He goes, why are you defending this piece of crap? I would have done the same thing if it was me. But yet you're going to defend him? So I like how they handled that scene. I like the fact that Cooper actually arrives on time to be able to take care of business the way he needs to take care of business when dealing with a ball bag that would actually do that to his fiance. So I like that. But let's see. There was actually some other stuff I wanted to talk about as well. I also want to point out that I think that the whole entire dynamic between the cartel and the cartel wife talking to Tommy's wife was really interesting because of the fact that the girl is not into to Tommy's wife being a BFF. She's there to find out information, and he wanted to find out if he knew anything at all. He wanted to find out if Tommy told her about him being fired, being let go, or anything like that. He didn't, because he doesn't really talk business to his wife. But I like how the cartel person is actually saying, "Hey, look, play this game back and forth with her, and see what you can find out. And this is all this has been. It's been a back and forth chess game between the two wives. And, I feel like Angela doesn't even realize what's even going on. And she's being played while, you have the cartel guy who's actually benefiting off of everybody. So I like the dynamic with everything with that. But yeah, and then Sam Elliott's character is named TL, but I already talked about the stuff that I enjoyed with his character. But I think that Landman season two definitely misses in a few areas, and I wish that that it was a little bit more cohesive. I felt like there was more of a comedy aspect to this show than it was a little bit of being serious. Even though there are serious elements within the show, which I wish they would actually stuck to. But still, overall, I found the series very enjoyable. I found something to really enjoy about this season. I just wish there was a little bit more of a danger element as well for Tommy. Even though we do get a little bit of a danger element with him, because there's actually a scene where all this stuff is happening with Cooper and then him being let go. And then he's like, "Can I get a break? Can I please get a break?" And then on the highway, there's actually um, it feels like the Final Destination to me, Final Destination 2, where everybody is getting into a car accident in a pile up and Tommy's around it. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna die, is what I was thinking. But then he winds up looking around. I think at that moment he realizes, hey, look, I need to take a step back and it could be a lot worse. I could be dead. I could be in this pile up with the cars being flipped over. And it's that come to realization of like, hey, I don't need to die to do what I needed to be doing, which also makes him do this deal with the cartel leader, which also leads into them being doing this. So I like that, and then I do feel bad for Cooper at first too, because Cooper's just wants to do the best for Ariana, which is provide for her and to be over the oil fields and things like that and it's not so much as to be rich, it's just to be comfortable to where they don't have to struggle. But Ariana wants to be able to live her life that life that she's been living whenever before her husband died, and he died out on the oil field, if you remember, on season one. So that's what it was. It was just the fact that Cooper wanted other things, and she was also challenging Cooper to make the right choice. And I like how TL, Sam Elliott's character, say, look, she's testing you right now to see what you're going to do. And so she puts him through a trial test. Like, she makes him meet the father and asks for his permission to propose to her, talks to other people in her family. So I like this thing that she does for um, to get what she wants, to be able to be with Cooper, to make sure that he actually passes the test that she put out for him. So I like that. But, the season's good. I enjoyed it. But I want to know, what did you guys think of this season? Did you like this season? Did you not like this season? I'm interested to know what you guys have to say as well. The Cult Worthy Studios, thank you for watching on Instagram as well. I do appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I'd like to actually know what your thoughts are on this. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel like me, where it was basically just comedy with the family aspect and not enough of the drama aspect that we got from season one? Did you like that? Or did you want more of that? Or did you like all the season? It doesn't matter what I think, it's matter what you guys think, because I want to know what your thoughts are. Go on ahead and email me at movieloversunite@gmail.com if you guys want to go on ahead and geek out with me over the show or anything like that. Or if you want to go ahead and talk to me after the show on the replay or anything like that, as this is going on, I'll be glad to go on ahead and talk about this even further, because I love talking to you guys. But that's going to be it as far as this show goes. I hope that everyone has a great and safe night. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, guys. Bye. Bye.